There is one thing that is going to change this country forever, and that is what is called civic education and the public awareness. The more the public becomes more enlightened and be able to confront the leadership demanding answers about the strings of policies that government is coming up with, that is what is going to change. That is what is going to turn around our politics forever. And I'm speaking about this, and I want us to look at a video. This video, there is a video that was, one person was addressing the leaders in Kalenjin. This was an event that was attended by Aoron Cheruyiot. And I want to tell you why it's a very fascinating video. Aoron Cheruyiot is the senator, is the Kericho senator. And those who are there are telling the political leaders of UDA that they must be truthful and explain what they really mean, or rather what they're telling the country. I want us to just watch that video, then we come back, we shall pull through.
Liban 136 per year. Oginde others are vulnerable. One wapunge obwana warozi vitu ole funding model ni bane. Did you come? Kiwa obikyo. Sabe policies kitawena yobe, hapo unaenda yobe kwamba aliwango unaenda yobe kwa school. Hawataka kukuja hapa nyumbani kutueleza hivi policies ambayo hii serikali ya Kenya Kwanza inatengeneza iko na faida gani kwa hawa raia. Some of these policies kuumiza ni raia nilipo ni tax kuspeed okwe tomi na roho. Mimi nataka niwaeleze sisi. Na mimi nataka niwaeleze wajumbe na wale viongozi tuliwaelect mwende pale Nairobi. Tafadhali, ikiwa there are some policies you want us to be you want our raia wafanye. Opana waro afiki yan mwawoge leo itabot anaruma tabot and hivyo ndo tunataka ananakwe. Awoje vikyo. Na ile awote mane bora ya kutukia kwa masa anakwe. Ole ni anataka baya kwa na ngogo tena na leo. Mwali, tuongee maneno sio? So kujeni nyumbani, tuongee maneno. Matongo dawa ite imetana wapi? Kitameulia, serikali. Haina kutofanya hii maneno yenu hivi ndogo hii, keje serikali imegomume. Unaelewana? Tunakanyana hii serikali yanguke yenu. Kwa sababu you must talk to us. Mungu awabariki sana.
I like his statement. You must come back and explain to the people how are these policies affecting mwananchi wa kawaida. And if I just want to show you some inconsistency in Kenya Kwanza. Last year, I think this was this year, there was a plan, or the Ruto administration, even though what we know behind the scene is Facebook had this plan to activate monetization in Kenya. For example, unajua saizi, if you run a Facebook page in Kenya, for you to monetize that Facebook page, the admin must be in a country like Germany or US or even Canada, where Facebook, and I think even Nigeria, where Facebook monetization is activated. So Kenya was lobbying, and this one is something that William Ruto allegedly started in 2022, for Facebook to be monetized in Kenya. So in December, not in December, in June this year, there was a hullabaloo by government saying that, you know, Facebook had opened monetization in Kenya, and they ran a very spirited campaign online. If you ask those who have tried to monetize the Facebook pages in Kenya, it's been unsuccessful. So recently when Itumbi was asked, why is it that despite of that promise is not working? Why is it that it is not yet working? I wanted to see how Itumbi fumbled with that question.
So allow me ask about Facebook monetization. It's still up and down. It's still not exactly there because the ads are still what's the word? As it's not working as people expected it to work. What's your comment on that?
So two things happened. After Facebook was supposed to go live on full monetization in end of June, start of July. That was not possible because at the time they told us the protests that were ongoing in the country, they would not be able to roll it out. And remember, at the time they rolled out to other countries who actually benefited from our push as a country. We are the ones who pushed for this thing. I must admit I don't have the latest update, but what I'll do for you within the next 14 days, I am going to call you. I'm going to ask the Facebook Kenyan team led by Mercy. I'm going to meet them in the office and I'll invite you so that they can give us an update together, and then I'm able to comment on that. I must admit at the time you asked that question, I don't have the latest update on what Facebook is doing, because they told us once the protests subside, they are going to launch the full monetization, and I know that is not yet there. I know there's some aspects that went live on the monetization, but I know it's not fully 100% rolled out. So give me 14 days. I will give you, remind me so that I give you an interview specifically on that, and I will drag along the Facebook team so that they can explain to us what's happening.
And I dare ask, how did protest affect something that was supposed to be done by Facebook? Facebook doesn't even have headquarters in Kenya. Facebook is based in US, Mr. Director. Sylvester, Facebook is in US, if I'm not wrong. So Facebook is based in Meta. Meta is based in US. So there is no way you can attribute there is no way you can attribute the fact that you've not been able to monetize Facebook by saying it's not been able because Facebook is not here, because of the protest. And then when you ask now what is the position, he's not so sure about it. Remember, Dennis Istumbi is supposed to be the person in charge of the creative economy and so on and so forth. So it's not going to work. In Kakamega, the deputy governor Savula went in Huisero, and he was going against the governor. The governor had tried to lie that there's some project that will start. He went there and said the contractors have not been paid, and so the work stopped.
If we are in the office, work for the people. And I'm here to tell you the truth, watu wa Huisero. County hii, we have a problem. Mheshimiwa amesema hapa contractor atakuja site next week. Mheshimiwa, tusidanganye watu. Please. Hakuna contractor atafika next week kazini kwa sababu the following projects. Hii Buhili Primary School, ECD. Huisero Level 4 Hospital, lile ward tunajenga. Huisero Sub-County Administrator's Office. Zote contractor wametoka site kwa sababu hawajalipwa. And that is the truth. Mimi mtoto wa pasa nasema ukweli. Ni mimi na gavana tukae ofisi na huyo MCA tupange tulipe hawa contractors ndio warudi ka. Si hivyo kazi inapangwa? If we are in the office, work for the people. And I'm here to tell you the truth, watu wa Huisero. County hii, we have a problem. Mheshimiwa amesema hapa contractor atakuja site next week. Mheshimiwa, tusidanganye watu. Please. Hakuna contractor atafika next week kazini.
Yes. So you look at how things are turning out, and the Kenya Kwanza administration must come and explain their policies to the people. I want us to look at this example, and you listen to Gathoni after the Gen Z protest. I told you that Gen Z shaked Kenya Kwanza. So after Gen Z protest, they birthed what they called broad-based government, and then they have taken a bill to parliament that is going to regulate protest, who can protest and how protest can be stopped. And of course, it's supposed to limit the exercise of that Article 37. And Gadono Mushomba is revealing more about that. It's a bit lengthy video, but if you watch it, it will give us a good perspective of what actually we are discussing in this video.
Hi, good people. I am back, and today I just want to celebrate the 14th year of the new constitution order in Kenya, and that is the constitution that we made in 2010. Some of us, during our young age, we participated in the clamor for the new constitution. And it was not easy. There are some people who went to the streets, others lost opportunities, others were maimed, and others were killed. And therefore, the current Kenyan constitution is a document that must be respected. But I'm worried as a lawmaker, and I'm worried as one of those people in Kenya who believe in the rule of law, that we are not only celebrating the milestone achieved through the new constitutional order, but we are retrogressing. So we are not progressing, but we are retrogressing by making laws that are undoing the gains that we achieved during the constitutional clamor for the new constitution and amendments. Now, I am here because of this bill. This bill is a proposal that has been brought to the National Assembly of Kenya during this parliamentary term by one member who is newly elected. And when I read this piece of legislation, I wondered whether this member ever participated in the constitutional order by making the new constitution 2010. You know why? Because we went to the streets, we demonstrated so that we can be allowed to come up with a constitution that will respect some fundamental rights, that will give dignity to Kenyans, that will allow Kenyans to communicate freely, to demonstrate freely, to picket and present their public opinion to public authorities. And in as much as I know that there are demonstrators who have misused the freedom to present public petitions to the public authorities, we must be very careful so that we don't make laws that are going to retrogress, that are going to undo the gains of the new constitutional order. I'm speaking about this bill called the Assembly and Demonstration Bill 2024, which has been proposed by one member, the Honorable Joy Kericho, a member for Mbeere North. This bill is a proposal to undo and to repeal Cap 56 of Public Order Act, Section 5 and 6. This bill gives effect to the provisions of Article 37 of the Kenyan Constitution. Article 37 of the Kenyan Constitution is the chapter that gives you the freedom to picket, demonstrate, assemble, and present public petitions to public authorities. Now, this bill provides for the application of assembly or demonstration and notify the regulating officer of the intention to demonstrate in advance. In advance means you can't just wake up and plan a demo tomorrow. You have to write to the regulating officer and give notice, and the regulating officer must give conditions on the carrying out of that assembly. Therefore, the regulating officer must write back. So how many of you think that the police officer can write back and allow you to demonstrate? Now, this bill proposes a liability of the effects of the demo and assembly to the convener of the demos and sets out prohibitions of the demo. This bill puts and appoints a marshal. The convener must appoint a marshal and declare that marshal to the police officer, with whom carries the responsibility of demonstrations. The regulating officer, who must be a police officer or a police officer serving above the rank of inspector, may stop demos, may prevent assembly, and may stop that without writing. Anybody who participates in an unlawful demos or assembly, or a convener who organizes and is concerned in holding those demos, is liable to committing an offense under Chapter 6 of the Penal Code, and is liable to imprisonment for 1 year. A convener will be responsible for cleaning up the mess after the demo. and will be charged for the cost of clearing the mess. No shouting or uttering words that may be calculated to or likely to cause or encourage violence against another person. Don't wear clothes that look like those one of a police officer or defense forces, and don't wear masks when you're assembling or when you're picketing, and you should not change the route of the demo that you had declared. If you do so, you'll be fined 100,000 shillings or 1 year imprisonment, or both. This bill is a retrogressive bill and must not be allowed to see the light of day in Parliament. As a member of Parliament, I must stand to oppose this bill. My work is to do civic education.
So look at that. So they're coming up with some draconian law to outlaw protest. Look at, leave alone the Gen Z protest, how many trade unions have taken to the street this year to lobby for salary increase? How many villagers, people in the village areas, in rural areas, have always taken to the street, to demand answers about the fellows, or rather to demand answers about the poor state of roads that they're putting their governor and their MPs on check. So that is what that gentleman is asking. The Kenya Kwanza team are not explaining themselves. And I want to help the gentleman and tell you why there is a bit of that conundrum, there is a bit of that confusion why Kenya Kwanza is not coming up bravely to explain their policies to the people. Why there is that space where they cannot come and explain and defend themselves. I want to explain that into details. But before I do that, I want to humbly request you to subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our videos. By the way, if you're Team Bold and you are residing in Bondo, Fat Baby Hotel is going to open a branch in Bondo on Monday, tomorrow, 9th. I will be there. Yes, I will officially launch that hotel tomorrow on 9th. So Fat Baby has a branch. We once advertised it in Luanda, but they're expanding in Bondo. So if you are a fan of this channel and you reside in Bondo, or rather pass through Bondo, we shall share the contacts here. Of course, from tomorrow we shall share the contacts here. You can make a call and taste the delicious food from Fat Baby Hotel in Bondo. So tomorrow I shall be there. Tupatane huko, tupatane huko tukifanya zetu, tuone vile ambavyo pia we can do those promotions. Now, the UDA members are very afraid of defending William Ruto because those policies are not well thought out and most of them are very unpopular. And I want to tell you the danger of what will happen. In 2027, you see this Nyanza Hula Balu of it is some people have some broad-based government in UDA. The Nyanza MPs will not campaign for William Ruto. Even if someone will endorse William Ruto, they will not campaign for William Ruto. They will seek the individual votes through ODM and then ask the voters to vote for whoever they want. The same thing that happened in Mount Kenya, where Kanini Kege and Sabina Chege wholeheartedly supported Raila Odinga. But there was a clique of other Jubilee aspirants who would then seek their votes but failed to mention the name of Raila Odinga. So why these MPs cannot explain some of these policies to the people is because, number one, those policies are very unpopular. And the fact that they are unpopular, they understand very well that you'll even get heckled when you try to defend something that does not even make sense to the people. So what they choose to do is just keep off, look at how they can navigate around, seek their own vote, but fail to defend what the people are really saying. The other thing is the issue of public participation. I think and in this bold, the founder members of this channel know I've ever done analysis and I've ever questioned the legal framework in public participation. Before a policy is even framed, before a law is passed, before legislation is enacted, the Constitution envisioned public participation, where the people have to be consulted. And that is why you have representative democracy, where we have MPs. We have, in the counties, we have MCAs, who are supposed to engage their constituents. And there is no money for that. They're given money for mileage to go and travel and speak to their constituents. But government always wants to do things in the dark because they want to have monopoly of what is to be done. Why you can't come to explain the policies is because there is a tendency of what I think is right, and you did not consult me when you are even starting it. So after you adopt that policy, you cannot come now to start convincing me. And that is the problem. Because some of these things, for example, this bill on protest, if you subject it to public participation, it can't go anywhere. Even subjected to some mini referendum of only 10 randomly picked Kenyans in the street and ask them, what do you think about wakisema kwamba polisi ndio itakuwa na stop? And in fact, we should really engage more on those random questions. What do you think of when we say that it is police will be doing this and that? That police will be able to stop protests. Some of those things cannot even pass a referendum of 10 people. Just randomly picked 10 people and ask. So there is always no public participation. The other thing is the Kenya Kwanza administration have been doing copy-pasting. A minister or a president or a state official travels to US or another foreign country. And after going to that country, he sees something and feels, oh, this is something I can do in Kenya. This is something I can try in my constituency. This is something I can try. Then you come back here and just adopt it and try to change your opinion and feelings into some policy or enact some piece of legislation. For example, that legislation on protest, demonstration bill 2024, which country has it? None. But it is just something that has been, because of what has happened, we want to stop people from protesting. So if you ask me, that is deliberately one of the things that is being raised around the current administration. They have the opinion. If you look at the funding model is a purely idea of the president. And apart from the president, even the PS for education is not even able to explain it well. Even not the minister, by the way. That university funding model, it's only the president who can explain it. Now, Waziri Akito, I've not seen a minister, the Minister of Education, going to media to explain and defend the new education funding model. Because some of those people also believe those things are not working. And I think the death of bottom-up that was never existed. There was something called bottom-up, but it never existed. It was, and I've been repeating, it was a political euphoria. It was a narrative to just create some political euphoria so that people can be converged into some very rational thinking and belong to a particular group. And in real sense, it never existed. So ladies and gentlemen, that is my take on what the gentleman is saying. And in fact, the president and the team must be very careful because a revolt is in the offing. Yes, the Kenyans are going to revolt. The public are likely to revolt. And that revolt might really take a different turn. They're saying if there's something wrong, is wrong. Now if the country will take that direction, then that will be the best thing to happen. Because the more you have an enlightened population, that is the time that you bridge the gap of propaganda and ensure that you do it to your best. So thank you guys. Thank you for this. And I also want to say thank you for supporting Kilifi Elderly Mission. Kilifi Elderly Mission is the second project under Granny Care. We did Granny Care in Kano in in May. So did Kilifi in August. And our intervention was to build houses the elderly. So we managed to build, we repaired 4, and we did food donation, we did the mattresses, and then there are other 4 that were built afresh. Yes, so zile tulijenga kutoka chini, sponsorship by one of us from Texas, quite amazing, that supported those 4. So we've done the first batch of 2, and the next 2 will be built this coming week. So I want to say thank you very much for supporting Granny Care. We believe that with time it will be an identity, and it will be the identity project under the bold, so that sisi tusaidie wale wazee, the most vulnerable and deserving in the society. I did Kilifi, I've done Kano, 2 counties. I don't know where next we want to go. We go Mount Kenya, we go Busia, we go Makueni, Kilifi, not Kilifi, Kitui, those areas. Yeah, so just share with us. We'll get to understand what we can do together and be able to support the society. Asanteni.